Hello Taurus, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self to ultimately create the life that you desire and deserve? As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have the tarot deck I'll be using, the clarification deck, and the advice deck that I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Taurus, let's jump on in. In your past energy, you have changes with the Knight of Swords in reverse. So this was either changes that did or needed to happen in your life to slow you down in some way. The Knight of Swords in reverse can be an indication that we're pushing or forcing too hard in a direction. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you were going the wrong way or you were on the wrong path or anything like that, but the way that you were going about something, it was like you were, it's kind of funny saying this, but like trying too hard, because, you know, a lot of times we feel like we need to push and exhaust ourselves and give everything we have all the time to a path, like whether it's a relationship or, you know, a career path or whatever the case is. But that's not actually the case. Now, I'm not saying it's not important to show up as your best self in the best way you can, but sometimes the universe actually isn't asking you to try harder. The universe is actually asking you to trust more and to slow down and make sure that you're balancing the effort that you're giving with, taking care of yourself and making sure that you're getting enough rest and making sure that you're doing it in more of an aligned way. So I feel like certain changes happened to get you more into alignment so that you were acting from a more aligned place, because the energy that you were giving in this past energy here wasn't sustainable. One of the things that I've learned a lot on my journey is that I have to constantly make sure that I'm asking myself, like, is my day-to-day routine or is what I'm doing going to be sustainable long term? Or is this something where I'm hoping that if I just burn myself out and give it, everything I have, that, eventually, like, am I doing it for the outcome or am I doing it for the journey, basically? And when we're investing for the outcome, that's where chasing and fear starts to creep in. And we actually end up pushing away the outcome, which I feel like might have actually started happening for you. Now, in your current energy, you have take the lead with the Two of Wands. So this is kind of this aligned energy, stepping a little bit more into your power. Taking the lead of your life is about, doing what you can, right? Showing up in the best way you can, but then giving the rest over, giving it over to the universe, trusting that you are supported, trusting that you are guided. And I feel like this is just a confirmation that you absolutely are. So I don't necessarily know what happened back here, and I feel like it's going to be different depending on your situation, but I do feel like whatever happened was to get you more into alignment, or to get you to act in coming from more of an aligned place to ultimately create whatever outcome it is that you're looking for. Now, in your immediate future, you have embrace uncertainty with the Nine of Wands. The biggest thing holding you back right now, Taurus, is your fear of the unknown. Now, I think you could probably go as far as to say that that's probably the biggest thing holding a lot of people back, like not just those who have Taurus placements, but I do definitely feel like specifically for this reading, there's this need to kind of embrace the uncertainty with this belief that things are going to work out. Sustainability is a huge, huge part of any journey. I learned this a lot through like my fitness journey. In the beginning of starting a fitness journey, I was burning myself out and working out as hard as I could all of the time and restricting my eating, and I would fall off and then I would binge, or I'd take weeks off of working out because it wasn't sustainable. So eventually I kind of figured out what a lifestyle looks like, where it's like, okay, I could wake up and I could do this every single day for the rest of my life if I needed to. And the same kind of thing goes for our career or our relationships. When we're investing in something out of hopes of like, I'm going to make myself miserable now for a desired outcome later on, that will just actually attract more of this feeling of just being miserable and burnt out and not getting where you want to go. The overall theme of this reading is be spontaneous. And I don't actually know how this ties in yet. I feel like this is kind of about like letting loose a little bit, Taurus. I feel like you've been taking life a little bit too seriously. And I feel like this is kind of letting loose and allowing things to unfold and honestly having fun. You know, one of my favorite spiritual teachers is Gabby Bernstein. And the reason why I like her teaching so much is they've just resonated so deeply with my journey. And one of the things that she talks about is she knows that her manifestations are coming when she's having fun with the process. You know, we often look for a feeling and an outcome. We say, when I get here, then I'll be happy, then I'll feel good about myself, then I'll be loved. But we have to find a way to feel the way we want to feel to manifest the outcome. The outcome isn't what creates the feeling is what creates the outcome. So when we figure out how to kind of relax a little bit, like relax into the journey and show up and doing the things that we enjoy, we actually manifest quicker and ultimately just getting, you know, to where we're trying to go without the journey being so horrible. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be as hard as we often think it has to be. But let's dive in here. All right, past energy for Taurus, you have changes with the Knight of Swords in reverse. So something happened, something needed to happen, something needs to happen, maybe even to slow down a little bit. You know, sometimes we focus so much on where we want to go that we miss where we're at, and where we're at is actually where we prayed to be, you know, before, and before we know it, we've missed our life because we're always searching for some future outcome to bring us joy. There's the Eight of Pentacles, a lot of work, putting in a lot of work. And I feel like that's obvious from this past energy. I feel like this is being very committed to something, you know, putting in a lot of effort, but just feeling like the outcome was never showing up, feeling as if you weren't getting to where you were trying to go. And I think that that has a lot to do with the fear that you carried that you weren't going to get there, which is probably why you know, sometimes when things don't work out or aren't working out as quick as we expect, we go, oh, that means I need to work harder and I need to stress myself out more and it needs to be, you know, more difficult. When in reality, again, oftentimes the universe actually isn't asking you to try harder. The universe is asking you to trust more, which doesn't mean just like stop showing up, but it means showing up and giving over what's out of your control. Which is hard to do when there's fear, you know, maybe fear of like financial fears or fear of, you know, not having what it is that you need or desire. And that fear can often actually manifest before the result. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes the fear, it's like we experience that fear, but we have to push through that fear to create whatever it is we're looking to create. All right, past energy for Taurus. So it's obvious that you're putting a lot of work into something. And I don't think that it's necessarily that it's the wrong thing. There's too much control. There's too much control. The Emperor in reverse. And then the King of Wands upright. So there's the action, there's the effort, but then there's too much control. And it was the control. It's almost like the universe is sitting there going, you got to let me help you. Like if you want to get to where you're going to go, like you've got to let go of the wheel a little bit. You've got to trust in the co-creation. You got to trust in the partnership. It's almost like you were looking for the universe's support, but yet not allowing it at the same time. And it's funny how we do that. You know, I've caught myself doing that more times than I can count, where I'm like, universe, why the heck aren't you helping me? Or why do I not feel the guidance? Or why do I not know what's going on? And the whole time the universe is like, well, it's here for you, but you have to let go and allow it. You know, the path is always there. The solution is always there. But we have to be willing to kind of let go of the wheel and surrender to it. And I feel like there's a lot of control in this past energy, a lot of forcing, a lot of trying too hard. And that's such an interesting thing, because I feel like it's not that you were doing anything wrong. It's that you were doing it too stressed out or like too forcefully. Because, the Knight of Swords in reverse, although it is an energy of needing to slow down, it's also an energy of chasing. And anything that we chase is going to run the other way because of the underlying fear that is driving that chasing energy. So I feel like the universe is trying to get you to relax a little bit, ultimately, and go about things in more of an aligned way, in a healthier way, a more optimistic way, a more faith-driven way instead of fear-driven way. So trust the changes. Trust the way that things are flowing, and then get into the flow. Because I do feel like the universe is trying to take you there, but it's almost like you want to get there faster, you want to get there your way, which we've all been there, okay? We are all human beings. And sometimes we do get caught in that mindset of it's my way or the highway, where we think it has to happen like this, it has to happen in this time frame, it has to go exactly like XYZ, but then the universe is like, actually it doesn't. There's this much better, much more easier, much more abundant path that you could take, but sometimes we're a little bit closed off to that because we put our blinders on and we're like, but if this doesn't happen, then enter worst case scenario, which is where that fear kind of creeps up and starts to make decisions for us. All right, past energy here for Taurus. Yeah, a lot of frustration. And I kind of felt that. It's like you feel like you should be further than you were. You feel like you should be, and that frustration stems from the fact that you do deserve, you do deserve to be where you want to be. Okay, and I think that the frustration is stemming from, I deserve to be here, so why am I here? And the universe is like, well, because you don't believe you deserve to be here. And that's the problem, is it's like you consciously you might be like, oh, I deserve, I've put in the energy, I've put in the effort, but subconsciously it feels like there's a part of you that doesn't believe that you're good enough, that doesn't believe that you're capable, that doesn't believe that you're lovable. And that part of you is coming up going, it's never going to happen for us. It absolutely can. And I get the frustration of not being where you want to be. But when we focus so much on the space between where we're at now, where we want to be, we actually constantly attract the energy of not being where we want to be. We have to learn to embrace where we're at and to invest in it coming from an aligned place, making sure that you're doing things that bring you joy, that make you feel good about yourself and about your life, and not just trying to force and push and control and manipulate outcomes, because when you do that, you have a tendency to get yourself out of alignment with the ultimate goal, which is to find that peace and that fulfillment within. The present moment, there is nothing better than the present moment. There is nothing in the future that is going to make you feel any better than you feel in this present moment. And if that's scary to you, the biggest reason you're not where you want to be is because you're unhappy with where you're at. And getting happy with where we're at actually takes us to where we want to be. I know it can seem backwards because you're like, but I want to be there. But once you recognize that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, you're going to get where you're trying to go faster. I hope this is making sense. Okay, current energy for Taurus, you have take the lead with the Two of Wands. It's like, have fun. I feel like that spirit is asking you to enjoy the journey, to figure out how to embrace the journey itself. It's never about the destination. It is always about the journey. And I know that's such a cliche, and it's we hear it all the time, but seriously, it is not about the destination. The joy, the peace, the fulfillment, the desire, it isn't found in the destination. It's found in the journey, in the becoming, in the growing, in the evolving. And sometimes that can be hard for us to understand when we're in the journey, but that's why we've got to embrace and trust the journey. Okay, current energy for Taurus, take the lead with the Two of Wands here. What does Taurus need to know about their current energy? You might not be where you want to be, but you're exactly where you need to be. There's the Moon. Fear is holding you back. That's interesting. It's fear of what you can't control. It's the fear of the unknown. And the fear of the unknown is what keeps you pushing and burning out. And I feel like through this reading, the spirit, the universe, your higher self is really asking you to lean a little bit more into faith. Into faith that you are supported and guided. on this path, because I feel like, seriously, and I know I already said this, but I feel like the universe is like, we are here to help you, but we cannot help you if you do not let us. And a lot of times what that looks like is surrendering it over. Now, surrendering doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop trying. It doesn't mean that you you just completely veer off your path. What it means is that you say, I'm going to focus on what I can control, and I'm going to give the rest over to the universe and trust that things are going to work out. But the problem is you have this fear, Taurus, this fear that things are never going to work out for you, that you're never going to get to where you're trying to go, that you're never going to have what you need, which again, I know I've already said that, but that fear is the biggest thing holding you back. And it's funny because I feel like despite the fear, you are going for it. Like, I don't feel like this is, well, for some of you might not be going for it because of fear, and some of you might be going for it a little bit too hard because of fear. So either way, there's a need to kind of take your hand off of the wheel, to let go of what you can control, and to allow this to be a co-creation partnership between you and the universe, because the universe really is here to help you. But this fear, and that fear is powerful. But it's like you're giving it too much power. We often give too much power to our fear. And I will say, I think that we often have a choice pretty much at any moment of our life. And we have a choice to pursue from a place of fear, to pursue from a place of faith. So you can be pursuing the right path, but you can be pursuing it from a place of fear, and you will consistently push the outcome away. But if you choose a path and then pursue from a place of faith, trusting in the outcome, trusting yourself, taking more aligned action, then you're going to get to where you're trying to go. And I feel like that's what take the lead is all about. Just let go a little bit. I feel like this is universe saying it's working out. Things are fine. It might not feel like it. You might be stressed about money or lack or loss or whatever the case is, but lack and loss is an indication that you're in the middle of a journey. So you're on a journey, embrace the journey. A journey can take you and will take you very, very far. Current energy for Taurus. What does Taurus need to know? There's a lot of negative expectations right now. It's imagining and believing in worst case scenarios. Boy, can I relate. Worst case scenarios rarely ever happen. I think that there's a statistic. It's like 80 or 90 something % of the things that we worry about never happen. When we are always pursuing from a place of trying to avoid things going wrong, we miss the point, because it's not about trying to avoid what could go wrong. It's about trying to pursue from a place of what could go right, which is hard to do when you fear that you're never going to get to where you want to go. But it's interesting because it's almost like the universe is saying your negative expectations aren't clarity. Like the Ace of Swords in reverse is this energy of this isn't a truth. This isn't you seeing things clearly. I get it. I get why you feel the way that you do. Typically, we tend to expect, we start to prepare ourselves for the worst when we've experienced the worst, when we've experienced things going wrong. It's like we're like, well, I feel like I got to prepare myself. And the universe is saying, no, you don't. What if this time things work out? What if this time things are good? What if the pieces fall into place? Like, how can you approach from a place of what if it all works out instead of a place of what if it doesn't work out? Because the what if it all works out mentality will take you so much farther than what if it doesn't. And I know that from experience. Like I get how hard it is. It's not like something that can just flip, but it's our perception of our reality is a product of the repetition of the way that we think and perceive our reality. So when we're constantly looking at things through the lens of our fear and our self-doubt and our lack, and again focusing on how far we have to go and how we're not where we want to be, we are going to constantly perceive our life through the lens of all of those negative things. The more that we can shift our perspective in each and every moment, and sometimes it just comes with reframing and almost sometimes like feeling a little bit delusional and being like, things are going to work out. I'm good enough. I'm capable enough. The path will reveal itself, or the next step will reveal itself, or I'm going to be supported through this period. Sometimes it feels like you're lying to yourself because it doesn't feel real or true in the moment, but whatever is true for you is going to be what you experience. So you get to choose your truth. You get to choose your reality. This is about choosing a reality that aligns with what you want instead of what you fear, which is hard, for sure. I feel like ultimately this is about figuring out how to implement more joy in your life here, Taurus, because I feel like, again, and I said this already, I feel like you're taking things way too seriously. And it's almost like this is a sign from the universe, and everyone hates getting told to relax, right? So I feel like I'm trying to be very careful with my verbiage here, but I do feel like the universe is like, relax, like let go, enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, focus on how far you've come, focus on the good, because that's going to take you a lot further. King of Cups in reverse with the Knight of Cups. What does this King of Cups in reverse have to say? You have nothing to prove. Oh, okay. That's starting to make a lot more sense. The King of Cups in reverse, to me, can be this energy of the voice in your head that you acquire. Yeah, okay. High Priestess, Eight of Swords. Okay. The voice in your head that you acquire because of all of the people that have made you feel like you are not good enough or not capable. Essentially, the people you feel you need to prove yourself to. You have nothing to prove to anybody, not even to yourself. You don't have to prove anything to yourself. You can just believe that you are good enough, that you are capable, that you're on the right path, that you're doing the right thing. You can believe in your intentions. I feel like right now, Taurus, and this is something that I certainly have struggled with on my path, so I get it, but you're coming from this place of trying to prove yourself. When I get here, then they'll see my value. When I get here, then I'll show them. Then everyone will see how talented I am, or how lovable I am, or whatever the case is. And the universe is saying, the outcome cannot provide you with those feelings. You cannot look for the outcome to make you feel lovable or good enough. You have to know you are lovable, talented enough, good enough, all of those things now, right? I think that that's a lot of what I was trying to say at the beginning, is the outcome will never bring you the desire or the feeling that you seek. The feeling you seek will bring you the outcome you desire. So figure out how you can adjust your approach, because I don't think that this is necessarily like you're on the wrong path. It could be for some of you redirection, but I don't really get that vibe. I don't feel like this is necessarily like you're on the wrong path or you're doing the wrong thing. I feel like this is more you're going about it the wrong way, because you're going about it so outcome focused that you're blocking yourself from the outcome, because it's not about the outcome. And I feel like that's where the kind of separation between where you are and where you want to be is coming from. Because when where you want to be becomes where you're at, you start manifesting like crazy. So it's about grounding yourself in the present, getting in tune with, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'll get to where I'm supposed to go in divine time. I'm trusting the process. I have everything I need. The universe is supporting me financially, emotionally. I'm not alone. The more that you can find that within, because your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So if your inner world is saying, I am not good enough until I get here, your outer world will constantly reflect back at you, you are not good enough. But when you say, I am good enough, and I know I'm going to get here, and I'm grateful for the experience before it even appears, then your outer world is going to reflect back at you, you are good enough. Here's the experience you're looking for. So it's a lot about not necessarily changing what you're doing in a way, but more so like going about it differently. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, especially with this Be Spontaneous, like have fun with it, relax into it. Like stop putting so much pressure on yourself. That's what it comes down to. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. And trust me, it's like, I know how not easy that is, but I don't know. I feel like everything is actually working out better for you, but it's almost like it would work out even better if you would let go a little bit. All right, what does Taurus need to know moving forward? Embrace uncertainty with the 9 of Wands. Embrace what you don't know. Embrace the unknown. Embrace the when am I going to get there, the how am I going to get there, the what is it going to look like. You don't need to know all of that. It's none of your business. It's Spirit's business. Your business is focusing on what you can control right now in this moment and making sure that you are doing things aligned with your joy, that you're feeling good about the process and about the journey. What does Taurus need to know moving forward? There you are. Look at that. Queen of Pentacles and the Hangman. And then there's the 7 of Swords. It's funny because this is literally like surrendering to what you don't know, like surrendering to the unknown, letting go, not needing to have all the answers. You know, sometimes we feel like if we can't see the path to the outcome, that the outcome that we desire doesn't exist. And that's where we actually get ourselves caught up in not experiencing the outcome that we desire. That's where, honestly, the amount of faith that you have in the fact that you are supported by the universe is going to be directly correlated to the amount of manifestation that you actually experience, like the manifestations of the things that you desire you actually experience. Because manifestation it's always happening, okay? It's happening whether you are consciously aware of it or not. We are always manifesting. It's not something that you either do or don't do. Our subconscious is always manifesting for us. That's where our limiting beliefs start to kind of creep in and will take lead if we aren't careful, which is why when things aren't working out or when you're not where you want to be, instead of like trying to figure out what you need to do to make it happen, it's going within and saying, what is this reflecting back at me? Is this showing me that I don't think I'm good enough? Is this showing me that I think that I have to burn myself out in order to be financially stable? Is this showing me that I have to, is this reflecting my fear of being alone forever? It's always pausing and stopping and not trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? What can I do? But like, what is this showing me? And when we start to adjust that inner world to align more with where we want to go, I am deserving, I am capable, I am lovable, we start to experience that inner outer world. So this is, as you move forward, letting go isn't something that happens once. Okay, so I'm not saying you're going to sit here and listen to this reading. You're going to be like, oh, okay, I let go, and it's all going to work out and everything's great. Letting go is a process, and it happens every single moment of every single day. In those moments where you start to feel anxiety, where you start to doubt yourself, where you start to experience lack, or you start to feel that loss, like that is where in those moments, every single time you feel it, you say, and I let it go, and I trust, and I give it over. And the more that you do that, the more it's going to become a habit until it's just kind of your natural response to things. So it is a process, but the more that you let go, the more and embrace that uncertainty, embrace what you don't know, the easier the whole journey is gonna be. The majority of our suffering actually happens in our mind. If you think back to like those times, those days you thought you would never get through, those periods of your life you thought you would never get through, you get through it, and then you go, that actually wasn't all that bad. Like, I mean, obviously it sucked and you don't want to go back to it, but you're like, I got through it. Like, I could do that again. That's how you build your confidence. That's how you build your strength. That's how you start to trust yourself to know that you can get through anything and that you will always come out the other side. And then again, as within, so without. As you build that up, you start to experience a reality that aligns with it. All right, what does Taurus need to know moving forward? Focusing on divine guidance. Page of Cups. The Page of Cups. We always have we always have access to an inner guidance system. And that inner guidance system is going to look and feel different for everyone. Some people refer to it as God or higher self or the divine or intuition, which is kind of an all-encompassing thing. But your inner guidance system is always available for you. It's just that your ego blocks your ability to access it. And your ego is where your fear and your survival mechanism is, which is where your fear lies. And your ego is very driven by this idea that it's now or never, and it's do this or you fail, or it's you'll never get there because you're not good enough. Your ego is very intense and demanding, and sometimes you'll even hear like the divine guidance, but then your ego will come in and kind of overpower it. So, the more that we slow down and the more that we sit with ourselves and we take moments sitting in silence and we, connect with ourselves on a deeper level, the more that inner guidance system can come through. If we're just like caffeinating and powering through, or if you're just constantly, on the move, go, 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 busy, 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 that inner guidance system is going to be harder and harder for you to hear because it's going to constantly be overpowered with the distraction and the noise and the ego. So that's why I feel like the universe is kind of asking you to slow down a little bit, is so that you can get more in tune with aligned divine guidance or aligned spiritual guidance, so that you can take steps in the direction that you're trying to go, so that you're not feeling so overwhelmed and confused with what is right or what's not right. And I think that a lot of that kind of comes with practice. I certainly have experienced like that has been a big part of my experience of my spiritual journey, is learning to understand my divine guidance, my spiritual guidance, and separate that from ego guidance, because ego guidance is very loud and intense and do this and you have to do this right now. If you don't do this, blah, 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 and you can't take today off. You can't afford it. You're not good enough unless you're working all the time. Spinning your wheels. Like, your ego guidance will push you and push you and push you and push you. Your divine guidance is rooted in love. It's rooted in choosing yourself. It's rooted in trusting the universe. It's rooted in calmness, and it's more of a nudge. So, if you feel like you feel like you're listening to your intuition, but it's actually kind of talking down to you or making you not feel good about yourself, that might not be your intuition. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, what else does Taurus need to know moving forward? What can Taurus expect should they embrace uncertainty? That's what I want to ask, actually. What can Taurus expect should they embrace uncertainty with aligned action? High Priestess with the King of Swords. I love the King of Swords energy. It's an energy of equanimity. It's this inner knowing of like, I know that I'm going to reach my goals because I know that I'm good enough, and I know that my action is aligned, and I know that I'm deserving, so why wouldn't I? Equanimity is being able to embrace the challenges with this belief that everything's going to be okay. It's a solution-oriented mindset. It's a faith-based mindset. And this, I think, that is a necessary step. King of Swords mentality or energy of that equanimity is a necessary step on the path to manifestation. And I feel like that is what this is talking about for you. This is getting in tune with that equanimity mindset. This will take you so far. This mindset, this belief system, this it's very like unbothered, unfazed by setbacks, because it's very much saying, it's like, yes, this is a setback, but this setback doesn't mean I'm not going to get to where I'm trying to go. This is just something that needs to be learned, or something that needs to be adjusted, or something that I need to see. And I know that once I do that, then I'm going to, take another step forward on the path. And then, instead, if you have where I feel like it's more like the King of Swords in reverse energy, then you face an obstacle or a setback or a challenge, and you go, see, I'm not good enough, this isn't going to work, and then you give up on the path, or you start to allow your fear to drive again, which pushes away the outcome. So the more that you kind of tap into that mentality, let go, embrace the uncertainty, embrace what you can't control, embrace what you can't know, and give it over to something bigger than you. It's almost like the universe is saying the outcome is certain. Like, you can absolutely get to where you're going. That is certain. But you have to let go of how that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, what it's going to look like, and everything, all of the other details that you feel you need to know to get there. It's like the outcome is certain, but are you going to believe in that enough to get there? That's, I think, essentially what this is saying. So thank you so much, Taurus, as always, for your support of my channel. I am going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to look at what you can do right now to ensure you're moving forward in alignment with your higher self. So it's kind of diving more into like tangible advice as you move forward on this path. Again, any information for that is in the description box below. And then I have an advice card to pull at the very end too. Thank you so much again, Taurus, and I wish you absolutely nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Taurus.